Hi guys, Dinner Lady here. Right, so I'm revisiting a recipe that I did right at the start of the channel, which I was a little bit grossed out at. I did it so badly, really badly. So I've decided to do it again. So I'm going to do fish, chips, mushy peas and homemade tartar sauce. So the fish that I'm using is cod cheeks. It's a lot cheaper than it is to buy pieces of cod. I don't find that frozen cod is very good for fish and chips. There's too much moisture in it. You can salt it to get some of the moisture out, but that's what makes the batter on the inside soggy. So I'm going to use the cod cheeks that I've got. And I'll bring you down and I'll show you all of the other ingredients. Right, so here are the cod cheeks. I bought them about 6 weeks ago when I was in town. They have been frozen, but they were fresh when I bought them, so they're not pumped full of water. So I am going to still salt them though. And for the batter I'm going to use 200 grams of plain flour. I've got 100 grams of corn flour, that's what makes them nice and crispy. A little bit of baking powder, and I've got some sparkling water on there as well. For the tartar sauce, I've got some mayonnaise, got some capers, I've got some pickled cornichons, some Dijon mustard, some Worcestershire sauce and some lemon juice. And I've got the frozen mushy peas. I buy these from Iceland. So easy, you don't have to steep them or anything like what you would normally do with a packet of peas. So you can just cook the amount that you want. I'll be cooking half the bag, and then whatever I don't use I'll be freezing. Do for a Sunday lunch, quick, bring it out in the morning, warm it up in the microwave, peas are done. And I've got a potato. Now, as you're aware, me and Ian are on a low carb diet at the moment, so I'm going to have a treat today. I'm going to have proper chips, but Ian's going to have halloumi fries with his. He loves them, I'm not so keen, but you know, we'll cater for each other. So I'm going to get on first and do the tartar sauce, because I want that to mingle in the fridge for a couple of hours before we get on and do the rest. Right, so like I say, the first thing I'm going to do is the tartar sauce. I'm going to do about 3 tablespoons. I'd say that's 1, 2, 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise. And I don't want to make a load, it's only for the one meal. Mind you, saying that, you could always have them in the fridge. It's really nice on cold cuts as well as just fish. And then just with these little pickles, just chop them up. Your hands were clean. I know I went in with my hands to get the pickles out, but they are clean. And it's only us that eats them anyway. And to be honest, I've seen Ian stood at the fridge door just picking them out and eating them. Just going to run your knife through them a little bit more. Get them in. Oh, and I also forgot, what I need also is a bit of tarragon. You can use tarragon or dill. Didn't have any dill, so I opted for the tarragon. Just a few little capers. That'll probably be about enough. Put the lids back on these before I actually knock them over, because I am a bit clumsy at the moment. Just run your knife through those. See? Right, that's that. Put them in there. Now I want a bit of Dijon mustard in there. just a little bit. That'll do nicely. Splashes of Worcestershire sauce. A little bit more. And a bit of salt. Bit of pepper. A little sprinkling of tarragon. Nice, that's like an aniseedy type. Just a little bit, you don't need too much, it is very strong. And the last thing we need is a bit of lemon juice. I don't want some massive lemon this. Still using the lemons from Costco's. I know everybody says I do this wrong, but this is the way that I do it. And just a little bit of lemon juice. Mix that all together. Oops. Run away. Have a little taste. Oh, that's nice. Right, so I'm just going to put that in the fridge for now, and I'll get rid of all of this, and then I think we'll get on with making the chips. Right, so I've just boiled the kettle and I've peeled my potato. I do blanch my potatoes for about 5 minutes before I even start to think about making the actual chips itself. I know a lot of people say it's not necessary. It's the way I do it, it's the way I prefer my chips. And to be honest, I very rarely have chips. And as you know, we are on a low carb diet at the moment, but I have been craving a little bit of carb. So I thought I've got 2 choices. I can either go out and buy a full loaf of bread, even a small loaf, but I still have multiple slices of bread, or I could go and buy 1 potato and do chips with this. So this is what I've opted for, because after this, there's no more potatoes and I haven't got a loaf of bread in the cupboard. So when I have chips, I do like them chunky. Take the bottom bit off first. Ian, when we do have chips, he does prefer to have like the French fry type thinner ones. He likes them when they're really crispy. I like them a bit like a roast potato, where they're nice and crispy on the outside but fluffy in the middle. So I'm just going to do nice big ones. They do shrink anyway. So, and then I'll get these on to boil for, like I say, about 5 minutes. That's more than enough chips for me. So we'll come over and I'll show you what I've got on the stove. Right, so I've put my mushy peas into a pan. I'm going to get them on at the same time, and I've got my chips in that pan. So I'm just going to quickly turn them on. Like I say, I've got a boiled kettle. I'm going to put some boiling water in with the peas, just enough to cover, and the rest will go, oops, made a right mess of that, and the rest will go over my chips. I'm going to put a bit of fine salt in with the chips, but one recommendation is when you're cooking peas, beans or anything like that, don't put salt in at the beginning. It hardens the outer shell, which means that the can't get soft enough. So wait until they're fully cooked before you put any salt in them. Right, so I'm just going to bring these up at the boil and they just go off. They'll take about 20 minutes boiling, and then you'll have your mushy peas, and these will be on for about 5 minutes. Right, I just wanted to show you this little fella. Now what happened to us is when we moved from the other house to this one, I had a big box of my kitchenware, and I'd lost quite a few, so I thought, oh, that box must have been thrown out. So when Ian was putting away the Christmas decorations into the loft, he had a bit of a tidy up while he was up there, and he found the box. So not only has it got my little deep fat fryer in, which is all being cleaned out, there's a steamer and a few other bits and pieces in there. So give this a good clean out. I'm going to use this to actually do the fish and chips in today rather than a pan on the stove. I think we got it from, it's a little one I think, and I think we got it, oh, must have been about 2.5 years ago. And that time you could only actually buy them online. I don't even know if you can still buy them now. I might have a look while I'm having a break. Right, so the next thing I'm going to deal with is the cod cheeks. Now, like I say, I don't get into town very often, so when I do go, I do like to get these. They're half the price of buying a piece of cod. It's just all pure muscle, and it is gorgeous. If you look, sometimes they can get together like that. There we go. Some are bigger, some are smaller. Obviously depends on the size of the fish that it come off. Look at the size of that one. So there'll be a few of these. Now I like these for fish pies, fish and chips like this. It's still cod. Don't know about where yous are, but round our way you can actually buy cod bites and chips from the chippies, which I love. And it's 3. I think the last time I got one, which was a couple of years ago, was 3 for £5.50. So this is £1 of the £2 that I bought, and it was £2 for £9. So that is £1. So that makes that £4.50 for all of that cod there. When you think about it, so there's 1 cod cheek. Even if I pick up the 3 biggest ones, 2 cod cheeks, 3 cod cheeks from the chippy all battered, that would be £5.50, and I've got all of the rest there. Right, so I'm just going to quickly, I don't want to touch the camera. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly salt these. Oh, help if I opened it up. I do find that this fine salt is a lot easier, is a lot better for this. And then get the salt on, that drains it, it takes away any extra moisture. So we'll leave that probably for about 45 minutes, and I think I've got about 3 minutes left on me chips. Right, so they've had 5 minutes. I've got a clean tea towel out here, and all I do is I lay them on the tea towel so that away from each other, and just let them steam dry. A bit like you do when you're doing a roast potato, and you'll see this, the little white bits starting to come up where it's starting to cook on the edges. As you can see, it's little bits are starting to come off on my tongs. And just let them drain nicely until they're cold. And then there's nothing left to do now until the peas are cooking away. The cod's got the salt on. So really all I have to do is fry these and make up the batter and fry the cod. The tartar sauce is in the fridge. Love recipes like this. So we'll see you in a while. Right, so these are fully cooled now. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put them on a plate, and I'm going to pop them in the fridge just to finish off cooling right down. Get a nice crust on them. So what we're going to do now is do Ian's halloumi fries. Right, so I've opened them up and I've drained them because there's always a little bit of water in there. And I'm just going to take this out. Now I must admit, whenever I've made these, they're all quite nice. And when I said before that I wasn't that keen, I don't mind them. Wouldn't be my first choice. So what I'm going to do with these is just cut them into, some of them break apart like that. There, look. Now I must confess I've never actually done these in the fryer. So I've done them in the air fryer and they work perfectly, come out nice and crispy on the outside. But I thought I might give it a go and just do one in the deep fat fryer and just see how it goes. So my tea towel that I used for the potatoes, I'm just going to pop these on there just to get that little bit of dampness off the outside of them. I'll go into the washer now, so don't worry, I'm not going to be using it for my dishes. Right, put them into a bowl. And that's them already. I'm just going to bring it over. Now this is after about 15 minutes. Still got a bit to go, but as you can see, they're coming down lovely. Skins are starting to come off and they will start to mush. Probably another 5-6 minutes and they'll be done. Right, so that's everything already. So whenever I want to start tea, it's just a matter of making up the batter. I do that at the last minute because of the fact that I've got baking powder and the sparkling water, which has a reaction, and that's why you get your crispy batter. So I don't want to do that too far in advance, otherwise you lose all of that. So everything's all prepared. Just whenever I want my tea, I'll get on and do it. Right, so the peas had about another 6 or 7 minutes. I've just got them on low now, as you can see. I'm just going to show you. I've done nothing else with it, just boil it down, and even I'm just going to show you a full pea there. So even though it's nice and soft, now's the time you can actually add your salt. Now these do take quite a bit of salt, so I'm going to put that much in for now. Sure, it's all in. Just going to needs more. I know it looks like a lot of salt, but these are very bland. And the more I stir them, you can see the mushier they're getting. Here's the other end of there. Yeah, perfect. So I'll turn them off now and put them up there, and we'll get this little baby on. Right, so I've put the first litre of vegetable oil in there, and that's taken it up to the minimum line. I know you can't really see it on the camera. I've tried to use the torch on my phone to try and brighten it up, and it's still not that great. So I'm just going to use the second one here and put it up to the max level. It's not plugged in or anything yet, guys. So I'm just making sure. There we go. So I'd say that's just under half of the second one. So like I say, it is a very small machine. I'm just going to plug it in now. To move my kettle plug. Don't want to have to stretch it too far. Right. So it has 3 different marks on there. So what I've done is I put it onto the first one, which is just there. I'm going to close the lid and let that come up to temperature. Right, so just as we're waiting for that to come up to temperature, I just want to show you the basket. Now the basket, the actual handle folds down out there, so once this is all cleaned out afterwards, you store this in there and it fits in perfectly, and then you just click it into place for when you want to use it. I'm going to turn you around slightly. So while I'm still waiting for that, I'm just going to get the chips in the basket. Now this is going to go probably for about 6 minutes. I'm just going to blanch them, make sure they're cooked all the way through, and no colour on them because that'll come right at the end. So I'm still waiting for that to come up to temperature a little bit. So I'm just going to pop that there for now and get a little bit of kitchen roll. Just wipe off the excess on there. Put a bit of kitchen roll on there for them to come out onto. I mean, it seems a lot of processes, but it does make the best fish and chips. Like I say, when I was looking back at the old one I did, I was right at the beginning of YouTube. I was very nervous, didn't know whether I actually wanted to do it or not, whether I was good enough to do it. And when I look at it, it just looks such a mess. I really wanted to do it just to show you, you know, it is easy to make at home. So anyway, we're still waiting for this to come up to temperature. Don't probably only a couple of minutes now, but you don't want to listen to me waffling on. So I'll come back when the light goes out. Right, so the light's gone out on there now. I'm doing it on here because if it gets a bit too smelly, I can put my extractor fan on there just to get rid of it, because I don't want my house stinking. So I'm just going to pop those in there now. And just a little tiny bit there. That's all we want for about 6 or 7 minutes. Right, so I'll come back when that bit's finished. Right, so they've had 7 minutes now. So they'll be fully cooked all the way around, just not browned yet. Got a little bit of crisp on, but not a lot. So I'm going to take them out of there, put them onto this plate to cool down. So I thought what I might do is, I'm just going to separate these all out over here. While these are here, I want to try and see what this halloumi looks like. I'm just going to do a little bit, because if it's absolutely blasts out me fryer, I'm going to have to clean it. So a little bit of the halloumi. Let's just have a look. Let's see what it's going to do. I've got these all draining nicely on here. Let's see, we'll cool these down again. You can actually get your chips up to this point as well and put them back in the fridge for one day and then do it obviously for the next. Still on pretty low. Let's have a look. It's not breaking apart. It's looking alright actually. So I'm going to give it a couple of minutes and then see how it goes. Right, well, I don't think that's going to work. It's literally just popped. And as you can see, it's not looking the best. So I'm going to get that out. And I think the halloumi fries will continue to be made in the air fryer. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm pleased to only put a little bit in. And I'm just going to turn this off for now. There we go. So once them are cooled, I'll get them cooled right down. And then it depends on what time I want my tea. It'll all be done in about 10 minutes after that. Right, Ian's not back for another couple of hours and I'm absolutely starving. So I'm going to do half the batter and I'm going to do mine now. So instead of 200 grams, I'm going to put in 100 grams of plain flour. Just like this. Nearly there. That's that. I'll make a fresh batch to do Ian's. Like I say, because it's got baking powder in and the sparkling water. It's the instant that you want. So I want 50 now of corn flour. And you can put, I've seen people put turmeric and everything in this just for the colour. But I just think it's a waste. And I'll do a half a teaspoon of baking powder. Right. Move that out of the way now. Let's mix this up together. I've got the deep fat fryer on, warming up to the higher temperature now, and then just add the water in here, and that's what you want to see. You don't want too thick a batter. I think the last time I actually put an egg in, oh, that's why it didn't work that well. Right, just mix that in. So it gets to a, doesn't matter if there's a few little lumps in there. I need more. Sparkling water. gonna whisk. I'm not used to this plastic whisk it yet. There, that's it. Doesn't matter if it's got a few lumps in, they will go nice and crispy. Just gonna take the texture of it. Yeah, I think that's just about right. So I think it's time to come back over to the hob. Right, so while I'm doing the fish, I'm not going to have the basket in there, so I'm just going to put that to one side for now. I want most of the area I can to do the fish. So what we've got here is, I'm going to get a couple of bits. I think that should do for now. Oh. Dip it in some just plain flour. I've only just dabbed off the water with a bit of kitchen towel, but I haven't taken any of the salt off because obviously you're seasoning your fish at the same time. It wasn't a load that I put on anyway, so I'm just going to get these few bits in here. A couple of the little bits for me. I'll put the bigger ones in first, and then we'll put the littler bits in. So I'm just waiting for that light to go out. You get quite a few in here, like I say, for the amount of money that you pay. So that'll do for now, because I obviously don't want to overcrowd the pan either. Right. So we'll bring that over to here now, so you can see. I'm just going to turn these over into the batter. You can see I'm going to put the bigger ones in first. See, hey, light's gone out. So I'm just going to get that like that. Oh, dropped it. And get as close as you can. Just leave it just a couple of seconds just to settle so it doesn't go onto the bottom, and then drop them off. Same as if you're doing it in a pan. Oh. Just a couple of minutes, let that settle, and then just drop it in. It should rise straight to the surface. Got one more pretty big one here. I'm going to get that in. Right. Give this a quick wipe down, because I made a little bit of a mess. And what I have is a slotted spoon to make sure that they're all separate, which they are. Now I'm just going to let them go for a few more minutes, probably take about 5 or 6 minutes for them, and I'm going to put the oven on low just to keep warm for when I'm doing the chips. Right, so they're lovely and done now. Just going to drain them off. I'll put the little ones in a couple of minutes in. Like I say, I'm going to put these into the little oven just to keep them nice and warm. And this oil is right up to temperature now. So what I'm going to do is I'll put the chips back into the basket, and I'm going to put them back in to crisping right up. So once them are done, I'll be back. Right, so that's the chips done, and I don't know about you, but they look absolutely amazing. So I'm just going to, nice and crispy. Just going to leave that there for a second. Now I've ground some of the sea salt in the pestle and mortar, and I'm just going to salt these chips now. Oh. Right. So So I'm just going to finish this, put it all on a plate, and then we'll get to tasting. So there we have it. Our cod bites, deep fried in batter, our crispy chips, our mushy peas, our tartar sauce. Got half the lemon that I used in the tartar sauce, sorry, to go over if you want. But to be honest, my favourite is going to be the malt vinegar. Right, so I think it's time to have a taste test. Right, so the first thing I want to show you is these chips. Nice and crispy, all soft and fluffy on the inside. Oh, it's hot. So, what I want to do is, like I say, I've already put some salt on there. Just going to open my vinegar if I can. Must have been a new one. I don't know whether just my hands. There, that's better. Move that out of the way. Bit of vinegar all over the fish, the chips and the mushy peas. The only thing I haven't got with this is bread and butter. I'm just going to taste the chip on its own. Homemade chip. Oh, hot but lovely, really soft on the inside, crispy on the outside. I'm going to be a devil and dip it in the tartar sauce as well. It's still hot, by the way. Now let's have a look at this fish. Crispy as that. Just want to show you on the inside. So crispy, well cooked, white flesh. That is amazing. If you haven't tried cod cheeks, please give them a go. I'm going to put a bit of tartar sauce on there. I hope you can hear the crisp. Absolutely amazing. So, don't know about you guys, but if you go to the fish and chip shop now, you're talking £15 for fish and chips. And then you've got extras on, like your mushy peas, your tartar sauce. I could have made some curry sauce to go with it. Don't need it, but that would be for a fraction of the cost. I mean, the amount of fish that I've got on there is probably about the same size as a jumbo cod in the chip shop. And it's red hot, hasn't been steamed in paper or boxes that you get now, so they're all flabby by the time you get home. So once again, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I know it's been in bits and pieces all the way around, but that's just the way that it goes. So I'm going to sit down and I'm going to enjoy this, and I'll make Ian's just before he's due in. I'm not going to do the halloumi fries in the fryer. They will be going in the air fryer. So catch you on the next one, guys. See you later. Bye.